Claudia's come in, her and Casey have clicked straight away and they do have a special connection. But to say that someone's compatible after 2 days compared to 2 weeks, you can't compare them.
Um, I am concerned because I know if you're in the bottom, you're going to be concerned that why am I in the bottom? What is it about me that the audience is worried about? But I think the conversation, if you look at Sammy and Tom's conversation as compared to Olivia and Kai, I think Olivia and Kai's conversation doesn't their it makes me question their relationship, the way they were saying what is it that the audience is not seeing that we're saying. And it's like, so are you in a couple because you have a connection, or are you in a couple because it's convenient and you think that the public is likely to believe that the two of you have this strong connection? Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 9, Episode 28. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and a comment. So in this episode, so Jordan and Ellie have left, and everyone is reflecting on the sort of bottom three. Tom has a conversation with Sammy because I think Casey's trying to pacify Tom because he's very worried, and Sammy's sort of like, yeah, we were in the bottom three, but I wasn't really that worried because at the end of the day, the thing that I came into the villa for, I have found, so I would be living with you. So the idea that we're in the bottom three really doesn't faze me. It could have been anyone. So, we have to just take it as is. And I think that reassures Tom because then he's saying, oh, okay, if I were to live with you, yes, I would be happy because, I have found you. So we have this great connection. And I think it would be okay for me to leave. And so they do come to acceptance of being in the bottom. And that's okay. Am I the only one who's taken back by this Shaq and Tanya drama? Shaq and Tanya were smooth sailing for almost 3 weeks, and we barely got to see them. We only saw them when they were involved in somebody else's conversation, or would only get a glimpse of their relationship from time to time. Now that they're in crisis, this is all we see. The whole episode was Tanya and Shaq. The episode before the unseen bits was Tanya and Shaq. And so it makes me question that why is it we're only shown Tanya and Shaq when they're in crisis, and when they're having a great time, we're not shown their relationship? I didn't like that. I think the producers are doing this because I think they had seen that Tanya and Shaq were very popular with the fans, and so they're trying to paint them in this negative light, which I don't like. I'm not saying that there is not a problem. Yes, there is a problem in how Shaq behaved, but still, I don't get why they are the main focus just because they're in crisis. Anyway, surprisingly, Tanya is having a chat with Lana, and Ron sort of comes through and asks Tanya, have you spoken to Shaq, and what was the update? And Tanya's like, yeah, we did speak before the text came in, and you know, we'll see how things go. Shaq, on his part, has a conversation with Jesse and Will, and they're sort of encouraging him that, maybe go to bed, and tomorrow, once you're refreshed, you'll be in a better frame of mind to have a conversation with her because it doesn't seem that the two of you are getting anywhere. And don't make a big deal out of it, which I really liked that they did that because I like Shaq and Will's relationship, and I like how Shaq brings out, especially this time that he's in crisis, he's shown us a different side of Will that I think we hadn't seen. I think Will, everybody saw him as just, the happy-go-lucky person, the non-serious person, the person who's always being goofy. And I think maybe the serious side that Shaq is bringing out is the side that maybe Jess loves, that we as the viewers might not have seen had it not be for this incident, because I think all of us have been questioning why we just like someone who's so goofy and he's all over the place, but it seems he's got a serious mature side to him, which I for one have really liked and really, I'm happy about. We then get Claudia sitting with Casey on the terrace. They're happy. They're celebrating the fact that they were saved from the bottom three, and they're just working on their connection. And it's nice to see Casey happy. It really is nice to see Casey happy. I don't know how that will go now that they're going to Casa. From there, we go to Tanya. It seems Tanya is going to every single person with ears to hear to discuss her issue with Shaq. And it's like, why? Why? Is she being encouraged by the producers to do that? Or is she just going round to everyone who can hear because she wants them to hear her side and to justify herself? I don't know. And then she goes across to Sammy and Tom and starts talking. And and I laughed because Sam was like, "I've heard this so many times, about 3 times, so I'm out." And it was good because she doesn't want to be involved in anything messy. And so Tanya then started um, talking to Tom and sort of explaining to Tom what happened with Shaq and how Shaq is reacting. I think if anything, if she wanted an honest opinion, she should have gone to someone, told them what Shaq did, said what she did, and then asked the person for advice on how to move forward. But it seems she was more focused on the fact that Shaq was complaining that you compared me to your ex, you compared me to your ex. Because when people talk about their exes, it's normally in a negative light. It's very rarely that people will talk about their ex in a positive light. And I think this is why Shaq is upset. I think he's upset because he thinks, oh, so she's saying these are bad qualities. So she's more or less thinking of breaking up with me. That's the impression that I got. Tom then immediately ran over to have a word with Shaq, which was good, I guess, because everybody seems to be trying to sort of make it make sense for Shaq. I think because Shaq, they know if they were in the same position, he would do the same. And so Tom is able to sort of speak to Shaq and listen to Shaq and sort of give him advice that, you know, at times you have to look at something and say, are we going to work through it or not? And given the bond that you and Tanya have, I can see the two of you overcoming this. So try not to make a big deal out of it, which was good. It was very awkward, though, seeing them in the kitchen, how they were behaving. And it's like everybody else in the kitchen was uncomfortable and just looking at them walking and sort of avoiding each other because they were, the perfect couple and they've suddenly fallen from grace. And it's like, that's what happens in relationships. This is what they need to understand that every day is not going to be a happy day. There are going to be days when you're miserable and you hate each other. And it's how you overcome that. And, it was sad because normally you'd see them get into bed, hug and kiss and stuff. There was none of that. Obviously, the girls were celebrating and dancing. And Tanya really avoided going to bed until the very last minute. Shaq was in his feelings. He wasn't talking to anyone. And normally, when the lights go out, you'd normally see them kiss, but no, Shaq wasn't having that. In the morning, he was sleeping on his side, which is a change because normally they sleep cuddling. Um, in the morning, everybody's is happy to still be around. Obviously, they miss Jordan and Ali. They do have the debriefing. Surprisingly, they had it in groups. I think maybe some people were tired of hearing about Shaq and Tanya, so they didn't want to hear it. Although Olivia and Sammy did sit with Tanya and sort of have a conversation, and I think I don't get most of the conversations. Surprisingly, Shaq is venting to Ron of all people and Will, and it's still going on. I think this would have all been resolved had Tanya sort of put her pride aside and explained what she meant by the X comment, because I think the X comment is what Shaq held on to and would not let go, and everything else that came in before or after, he didn't hear. All he heard was, "You remind me of my ex." And as much as Tanya tried to explain, I think that all just went over Shaq's head because he was still stuck on the ex comment because it's like, so what is it about your ex? I think she should have gone into detail. When I say my ex, this is what I mean, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But anyway, and then you have Casey, Kai, and Tom by the swimming pools, sort of playing a race with their, slides, and it's just like, oh my god, these people must really be bored. What else can they do? And it was just a lazy day. Outside, I think outside of the Tanya and Shaq scenario, there was nothing else going on. I like the fact that Claudia and Jesse, because I've always said, why is it that the boys are always making stuff for girls? So Claudia and Jesse made, a bowl of cereal for Will and Casey, and they were so excited. And Will was very excited. He was like, "Oh, I really like Casey. He's my mate in here, and I think I'm going to like Claudia. So, we can have a foursome." It's like, Will, do you know what a foursome is? Anyway, they really seemed to enjoy themselves. It was nice to have a moment that wasn't just so chaotic and toxic with the drama about Shaq and Tanya. And then we had Kai and Olivia having a conversation about being in the bottom three, and I didn't like that conversation. I felt as though some type of way about their relationship after the conversation because They're having a conversation about why they're in the bottom three and the fact that Kai is worried that he might be the reason why they're in the bottom three because he's been in the bottom three times. And then Olivia's worried about the fact that why is it people said that Casey and Claudia are more compatible than Kai and Olivia. It's like because people see the communication, people see the chemistry, people see how things are going. It's not just one thing that makes people think that they are compatible. And maybe because of the way you've been moving in the villa, this is why people think this Kai is just a relationship of convenience because you went to Kai, he left you. You then went to Will because that was your only option. And then you went to Tom. And from Tom, you went to Spencer. And from Spencer, you then went, you were fighting with Sarah over Tom. And then from there, you suddenly woke up and you were with Kai. So maybe that's why the audience don't think you and Kai have great chemistry. But hey, it is what it is. Tanya and Shaq eventually have a conversation and agree to disagree that, you know, they're just going to try and move on from the issue that they had in regards to the ex-boyfriend comment. I think their main problem with Tanya and Shaq is they're two very stubborn people, and because of their stubbornness, the at least Shaq is willing to back down. Tanya is not willing to back down at all. So Shaq does agree, even though he had previously said that if this had happened in the outside, he wouldn't put any effort. He does agree that they need to continue to make an effort. He goes and he speaks to Will and tells him about their update that they've agreed to disagree. Tanya speaks to Olivia saying, I didn't quite get what he was saying. And he's like, why didn't you ask him then if you didn't get what he was saying? You should have asked him for clarity instead of moving on and speaking to somebody else. I think the main issue was there were too many cooks in the kitchen in the sense that they were running around getting advice from everybody else when it should have just been the two of them. But hey, it is what it is. And they then get ready for the night. The girls are excited. The boys are there, busy. You can see Shaq actually ironing Tanya's green dress. And while they're getting ready, the girls receive a text message that it's time to go to Casa and they need to sneak out. And I think the reason why Shaq found out is because he went to drop off Tanya's dress. That's when he realized that the girls had gone. And he told Kai, and the boys were, it was hilarious because everyone was calling their partner, like Will was shouting, Jesse! Jesse, and it's like they've gone. What do you think? And the girls got to Casa Amor. They were excited, and the boys were lost. It's really sad. The boys looked lost and confused without the girls, and it's like seriously, you know, find something to do. You don't just need to be miserable there. And the boys got ready and went to the fire pit and received a text message that the girls had gone and it was time for Casa Amor. And they were celebrating, Casa Amor, Casa Amor. I think because everyone is excited to see who's coming and meet the new girls. Um, I worry for Ron. I can't wait for Ron to misbehave. The boys then are asked to pack suitcases for the girls, and it was nice to see people writing little notes, I'll miss you, and to see guys packing stuff for their girls. And it was it was sweet. It was sweet, I think. And the girls were busy celebrating. Obviously, they got ready and the new boys came in. And I can't wait to see how the girls behave. Obviously, they did bring in six guys. I know people were saying, oh, the guys are not all that, but I think they're way better than the guys they brought last season. Last season, the guys were not it. They were not it. They were really not it. And it's somehow, it's interesting that they always bring the guys that are not it for the girls, and they bring amazing girls for the guys. And it's like, so do you mean you don't want the girls to be tempted? It's only the boys that you want to be tempted. I think the guys look amazing. I think the new guys look similar to some of the previous Islanders or current Islanders. I think Kane looks like Ron, and Martin reminds me of Dammy, not because he's Irish, but and he's black, but if you look at him, he's got some features that remind me of Dammy. All the other guys, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I can foresee one or two girls' heads turning because they're not as bad as the guys that were there last season. We have to give them that. But I don't know what will happen, whether any one of them will have chemistry with the girls. It would be nice to see if Lana's head turns. Obviously, there are girls coming as well, and there is a blonde bombshell. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ron behaves. But anyway, it is what it is. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.